Every year, a ton of new games come out.
And we really want to play them.
But we can't play all of them, so we have to pick a few.
And here's a list of the most anticipated ones. In this video, we're gonna list most anticipated board games for both of us in 5 different categories.
Multiple categories.
There's gonna be filler games, other games, those games, and the other games.
As you can see, it's a very extensive list.
Family games, Euro games, lots of them coming up.
You still want to list them. He always wants to list things.
So let's list these games.
What's the first one?
Family games. 3, 2, 1. Flock Together.
Oh, nice. I had it on my short list. Oh, I should have picked that one.
But you didn't, sucker. It's a cooperative game where all of you are chicken, different kind of chicken with different abilities, where you have action points and you can use those to do different actions, like lay an egg. Chickens do that. Thematic already.
Boom, mind blown.
Gather resources, revive other players, attack to the bosses and other things. And you have these books that you flip, and that's how you upgrade. It looks amazing, and it's kind of Spirit Island light. If you would play Spirit Island, but you're not gods, but chickens.
Yeah, I got it. I can totally see the resemblance. Mine's Dead Cells. Dead Cells is a video game. You might be like, what? But there's going to be also a board game.
I'm not like, what?
I didn't know there's a video game.
I don't care.
I care. It's a cooperative board game that is a roguelite. It means you play and then you die and then you get to upgrade a little bit and you start over. And then you do that over and over and over. You play a mutation, a guy that is born, and then you're trying to fight through the end of the dungeon. But you won't be able to do that because you're too weak, and then you're gonna die. But you don't lose, per se. You get to upgrade a little bit and restart. And each player plays one of these mutations, and you have your own deck, and you're trying to upgrade it, get better, 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 and finally finish the game eventually. And I'm hoping that this gameplay loop is going to be more interesting than my description of this game.
Anyways, let's move on to the next category, which is a filler game.
Filler! It's a sequel to one of your favorite board games ever. Not. So.
Oh, it's Canopy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Canopy Evergreen. I'm not gonna write it. Canopy Evergreen is a sequel to Canopy, but with the multiplayer game in mind from the get-go. Canopy was a 2-player card game that you could play with more than 2 players, that you shouldn't play with more than 2 players. But essentially, it's a drafting game where you have multiple piles in the middle, you pick one of the piles, decide if you want it, if you don't, you place it back, put a card on top of it. Then check the next pile. And you're gathering different animals and plants, and there's like set collection. If you have a certain amount of these, you score this. There's some special abilities. It had great artwork. It's a fantastic 2-player game. Me and my wife like a lot. Canopy Evergreen is a sequel to that that's going to have more players, and I really hope it's gonna be great.
For me, it's Moon Rollers.
Moon Rollers, it's like skateboarding game.
There's a board game Moonrakers. This is a standalone expansion. You can just play this or add it to the Moonrakers as well. And a lot of people actually have already tested this and said good things about it. So you roll a bunch of dice, push your luck sometimes, and you try to get enough resources to recruit people. You get more points by doing that, and that's basically it. It seems like could be really fun, and it looks visually really pleasing. With the color schemes, got my attention. I already saw a few reviews about it for the prototypes, and it looked good.
Next one is for 2. My kid's gonna be fine in the world. I was convinced of that a couple of weeks ago. He said something, and my wife said, "It's not funny," and he said, "It's a joke. Jokes don't have to be funny." I was like, that makes sense, yeah.
That's your son for sure. Yeah. 2, 1. Cascadia rolling right.
Mine is Star Wars Unlimited, just like my jokes are. That's a good pick, and that made me think, should we have roll and rights for all the games in the world?
No, but this one I think fits, because the base game itself is very quick, feels almost like a roll and write, but not really. What Cascadia is, you have animals, and you have terrains. And each turn you choose one terrain and one animal that you can place on your board. And you score points for the combo of terrains that you get and the combos with the animals. That's it. It's super simple, light game that is perfect for 2. And that means also the roll and write, I think, will be perfect for 2. It should be really fun.
Cascadia, one of those games that I should get.
I did get it. I love it to bits.
Mine's Star Wars Unlimited. I think I talked about this. I haven't talked about it on our public channel, only our Patreon channel. Each month we do special videos just for our supporters, where we cover things that we don't cover on our main channel. But you can see those videos if you become our supporter on Patreon or here on YouTube. Anyway, Star Wars Unlimited is a collectible card game for 2 players.
In this game, you play one of the sides, the good guys and bad guys. What a surprise, Star Wars.
There's gonna be boosters, you're gonna collect cards, it has custom artwork, it's quick, I hope it's fun. You said it's fine. Fine rhymes with fun, kinda. So, still excited.
I think if you're a big Star Wars fan, you're gonna enjoy this one. I'm not.
I'm also a big collectible card games fan. You're trying to kill the opponent's base, I think. I haven't played it. You've played it.
I played it.
You already started telling, so how do you win? By not playing it and saving yourself some money and not buying it.
That's the best way.
Let's go, next category.
Next category, Euro game. 2, 1, World Order.
Andromeda's Edge. So this is a sequel to Dwellings of Eldervale, just in space, with different modifications that hopefully improves it. Dwellings of Eldervale is a hybrid Euro game, worker placement game, tableau building game with combat. Sounds weird, but it's fun, it's great. You place workers, do actions, then you fight each other, you fight monsters roaming around, you play cards that combo, and the most unique part about that game is when you like pass, you take all your workers back, and then they come onto your like cards and do actions as well, so you're always using them, even just by removing them. So this is the sequel of that, hopefully improving on things that were not as good in the previous one, and hopefully that one is great as well.
Mine is World Order, which is also kind of sequel from Hegemony, a game that for both of us is like really acclaimed game, one of our favorites of all time. It sounds very similar to the Hegemony, where it's based like on real life events and theory about how economy works. This time you play different like leaders or powers of 2010s. So you can kind of simulate the real world. The best thing about Hegemony was that all the players were very interconnected. Yeah. Everything you did affected all the players, the world in general. So in this game, I expect nothing less, because it's the World Order. You all control or lead the world to hopefully better future. If he's playing, most likely not. Next category is solo game. 3, 2, 1, Conservas. It's a solo game where you make conservas.
Cans of food? You got me so excited now, yeah. Wow.
At the beginning of the game you have one ship, a little bit of resources, and you have to go out and fish. Then you can buy new boats, upgrade it and fish more. The game is about balancing, because if you fish too much, you destroy the ecosystem, so you won't be able to fish that much next season. So it's a balancing act to get most resources you can, as well as keeping the earth where it should be. A really good theme. They have really good puns. Usain Bolt was one of the boat names there, so it got me right away. It looks a simple one-player game, which is quite quick. You don't have to spend a lot of table space, a lot of time. Yeah. It just should work as a solo game brilliantly.
Well, I don't know how I'm gonna follow this theme now. I mean, you're making canned fish, but I'll try. So mine's War Story Occupied France. It's a game from one of the designers of Undaunted series, which I really like. But this one is a choose your own adventure narrative co-op game. It's from 1 to 6 players. You can play it solo, and I think most will.
What you're saying is it does not fit this category.
Well, you'll be making fish canned fish, so.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna share any with you. Yeah. What do you do in that game?
I don't know, it was just announced. There's not a lot of info there.
Great, anticipating it already.
Legacy, a campaign game.
3, 2, 1. Clank Legacy 2.
Ooh, you haven't played the first one yet.
It was really tough to get the first one on the table, because we're not gonna review the first one. But the second one feels like we need to test it out, because you're super excited about it.
I am. I considered putting it on the list.
So I'm super excited about this one. I've heard a lot of good things about the first one, so I'm gonna play this one, tell you how good it is, and then you're not gonna play it. That's all I can ask for this year.
Me not playing a cool game? Nice. Thank you, Santa. Anyway, mine's Purple Haze. So what do you think the game's about?
Is it a war game?
Not directly, kinda. Well, it happens during the Vietnam War.
Oh.
No, wait, it's great. It's great. It's not a war game. It's a campaign game that just coincidentally happens during the Vietnam War. So when, dear viewers, do you think there's gonna be a war game that Giannis goes like, damn, this is great? Purple Haze is an immersive story creation, tactical level campaign war game. For 1 to 4 players that drops you into the heart of darkness. Vietnam, 1967. When I said heart of darkness, you probably thought Mordor, right? You play a squad that has landed in Vietnam. The chopper went down and you're trying to survive. From the game to game, you will level up your people. People will die there. I mean, you will lose one of your men and he's gone, he's done, it's over. You don't go like, oh, what happens if you die? It's fine, you just pick another character. Well, no, he dies. All the experience points you invested, gone, dead. And it just sounds exciting, just going through this story, just hoping they survive until the end.
I know nothing about. 2, 1. Almighty. You play gods? You kind of control your worshippers? Do some other stuff so you get more powerful? Deck pull / bag building?
Okay,
the cover looked really good.
Oh, there's a cover.
So there's a cover, nothing more. I went through a most anticipated games list, and this cover just looked different, interesting, so I checked it out. From all the mechanisms, it looked really interesting.
Okay, you true to your category.
Yeah, I went all into not knowing anything about this one.
Well, I cheated. I know a lot about this one, actually. I don't know how much I'm going to love it, cause it is a sequel to Here I Stand and Virgin Queen. I love those games a lot. This one actually is on the way to me. So, you know, I'm gonna get my hands on it for sure. I'm not sure if I'm gonna play it, because it's a big game, but it's only 4 players, so it should be easier to get into it. So if you don't know what Here I Stand or Virgin Queen is, they are one of my all-time favorite board games.
If you would watch like any second video, I think you would know what it is.
Please, I don't mention Here I Stand that loud. Anyway, I cheated. It's a word game. I know a lot about it. The only thing I don't know, how will it rank in those 3 game categories? Will I like it more than Here I Stand, dare I say? But it is about a period of Spanish succession. It happens just before Here I Stand happens. It's dripping with theme. It's a historical, political war game for 4 players, where each player plays his nation. It probably takes all day to play, which I hope it doesn't, but I guess it will. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna love this a lot or a lot.
Dumbest reason to pick this game in this category. What are your most anticipated games of the year? Let us know. What should we check out? Be sure to check out also our Patreon page or become our YouTube member. Both are super great if you would help us make this content. So Jans can continue mess up these categories.
Shut up.